All right. So, you know, every few years, we have our big racial narrative of the year. One year it's Trayvon Martin. Oh, you have to be emotionally drawn into this crazy racial story, this crazy story of racial divide. One year it's George Floyd. Oh, you have to be willed into this story that's just crazily racially dividing. And I used to fall for those narratives. I used to be extremely emotionally and even in some ways spiritually invested into these type of stories. I'd say, what a racial injustice. Oh, we got it so bad as black people. Oh, that damn George Zimmerman or that damn cop who killed George Floyd. Grr. Yeah, I just get really emotionally invested into these things until I realize, this is a three-pronged play by the media, by the powers that be. This is a three-pronged play to manipulate you both emotionally, spiritually, and in some cases, even financially. So the first prong of it is they want us blacks to have a convenient scapegoat for the problems that exist in our community. The last thing they want for us to do is to do what Michael Jackson said. What did Michael Jackson say? Michael Jackson says, I'm going to take a look at the man in the mirror. Well, why? Because what does taking a look at the man in the mirror, what does that do? By taking a look at the man in the mirror, you then evaluate your own community and you say, hey, maybe there shouldn't be so many baby mamas. Maybe the women shouldn't be walking around in scantily clad and twerking on tables at restaurants and looking at shows like Baddies and shit like that, or these housewives and type of ghetto mess like that. Maybe we shouldn't allow these type of things to be influential markers in our culture. It gives us the convenience of not being able to look at our own community and look at ourselves as the solution to the problem. It gives us a convenient scapegoat, the white man. Look at, spooky white man, this spooky cracker. All right. So the second prong is simply as a distraction. All right. The billionaires who actually run this country, they want you emotionally invested in this, so you're not paying attention to them gutting Social Security. You're not paying attention to them gutting things like Medicaid. You're not paying attention to how they're taking away all the money from the middle class and the lower class, the little money that the lower class does have. They're scooping up all the money. They're siphoning out all that money and lining their own pockets. They're lining their own pockets. And, if we're busy, fighting white against black, black against Mexican, Mexican against China, different. If we're busy fighting each other, nobody's going to be paying attention to them running away with all of the money. The third prong is you have people like Patrice Cullors. We'll take a look at this story. You have people like Patrice Cullors, who founded Black Lives Matter. People like will secretly buy $6 million mansions with the money that they ransacked from the black community, with the money that they ransacked from corporations, and guilty white people. It's a business. It's truly a business for the lots of these people. People like, Benjamin Crump, Al Sharpton. Whenever a black man dies, that's something. It's scary that whenever a black person dies, Black Lives Matter, the first people on the scene, Al Sharpton, the first man on the scene, Benjamin Crump, first person on the scene. What about all the black people that are still alive? That Al Sharpton, Patrice Cullors, Black Lives Matter, they don't give a single fuck about. But when you're dead, we really care about you, especially if we could use your death as an emotional manipulation tactic to siphon money from thousands of people, sometimes millions of people. And so what I'm saying about, regardless of the outcome, now personally, I think the nigga's guilty. I think the nigga was a thug. I think that someone pushing you You don't have the right to stab a motherfucker in the chest for that. Personally, I think the motherfucker's guilty as fuck. I think he should spend the rest of his life in prison, if not a good majority of his life in prison. You don't get to go around stabbing people. But it's simply that. It's simply a stabbing. There's no more to the story. I don't like how people are putting this racial narrative on it, and especially I don't like what blacks are doing. You know, we see black people fall for that thing we fall for time and time and time again. And what is that? That is falling for the media okie doke. That's falling for the media, feeding us these stories, feeding us these type of stories, and us falling for the mental manipulation tactics. I think it's time to be much smarter. Because think about it like this. What if we fall for this, we fall for this racial narrative, and say Karmelo with his thug ass, say he gets off on this crime. What precedent are we setting? Are we setting the precedent that, if someone barely touches you, if someone pushes you or barely shoves you, you have the right to then kill that person? I think that would be a very dangerous precedent to set in the black community. So at the end of the day, yes, absolutely, Karmelo is guilty. You should not be defending it. If you're defending it, you're simply being emotionally manipulated by the media. As you know, I fell for that shit at one point. So I'm not hating you for that, but we gotta be smarter than that. These same niggas telling us that this was a case of self-defense are the same motherfuckers that are going to tell you that a man with a large penis and a pair of balls can magically turn into a woman. Same people, same satanic, same manipulative, same evil people. Nonetheless, let me know what you think about this video in the comment section. And remember to like, subscribe, share, and as always, stay woke.